A massive emu, its shaggy feathers ruffled, charges through a wheat field, sending golden grains swirling in its wake as a farmer stands frozen, watching his livelihood being destroyed. What could drive these giant birds to wreak such havoc on the rural town of Campion, Western Australia? The answer lies in the dusty, barren landscape that stretches out beyond the fields, a testament to the devastating effects of a long drought that has forced the emus out of their natural habitat in search of food and water. As the emus continue to invade the farms, the farmers, desperate to protect their crops, began to plead for help, begging the government to intervene and stop the destruction. But little did they know, their cries for assistance would set off a chain of events that would lead to one of the most bizarre conflicts in Australian history. In response to the farmers' pleas, the Australian government swiftly deployed a group of soldiers to Campion, armed with machine guns and a confident swagger, expecting to quickly quell the emu uprising. A convoy of trucks rumbled down the dusty roads, carrying men in crisp uniforms, who were eager to prove their mettle against the marauding birds. As the soldiers arrived on the outskirts of Campion, they were greeted by the desperate farmers, who pointed them towards the emus, now gathering in large numbers on the horizon, their piercing gaze seeming to dare the soldiers to come closer. With their machine guns at the ready, the soldiers began to fan out, forming a wide arc to encircle their feathered foes. But as they did, the emus began to stir, their long legs tensing, as if sensing the impending battle. As the soldiers crept forward, the emus suddenly burst into a sprint, their powerful legs devouring the dusty terrain, sending clouds of dirt and debris swirling around them. A soldier aims a machine gun at a fleeing emu, but it dodges and weaves, evading the hail of bullets with ease, its soft feathers ruffled by the near misses. The emus scatter, disappearing into the scrubby underbrush, only to reappear unexpectedly, their beady eyes fixed on the soldiers, who stumble backward, their formation breaking as they struggle to keep up with the birds' unpredictable movements. And now, the soldiers' confident cries have fallen silent, replaced by the ominous, unsettling calls of the emus, echoing across the barren landscape. As the emus continue to outmaneuver the soldiers, they begin to exploit the military's weaknesses, targeting the soldiers' vehicles and supply lines, pecking at tires and snapping at ration crates. A soldier frantically tries to repair a punctured tire, while another attempts to shoo away a group of emus stealing their food. The emus' guerrilla tactics prove relentless, with the birds using the cover of scrub and spinifex grass to launch surprise attacks, sending the soldiers scrambling for cover. Suddenly, a soldier spots a large emu charging towards him, its powerful legs propelling it forward with alarming speed, and he raises his rifle, frozen in uncertainty. As the soldier hesitates, the emu closes in, its beak snapping wildly, and he stumbles backward, tripping over his own feet. The emu's charge is swiftly followed by a wave of its companions, a sea of brown feathers and flailing wings, as they converge on the soldier's position. A machine gun opens fire, but the emus are too quick, dodging and weaving between the bullets, their sharp eyes fixed on their enemy. The soldiers stumble back, desperate to regroup, but the emus press their advantage, driving them toward the open desert. The emus' cries grow louder, a deafening cacophony, as they gain ground, and the soldiers' retreat becomes a frantic rout, their discipline shattered by the unyielding fury of the birds. As the soldiers flee, their abandoned vehicles and equipment litter the desert floor, a testament to their hasty retreat. The emus, now a conquering force, sweep past the discarded machines, their long legs striding effortlessly across the sand. In Perth, the government scrambles to respond, ministers convening an emergency session to assess the debacle. The Minister for Defence, his face etched with concern, ponders the unthinkable, withdrawing the military, admitting defeat to the emus. The room falls silent, the weight of such a decision hanging in the air, as the sounds of chaos and destruction continue to echo from the desert, where the emus remain, unrelenting, their dominance unchallenged. Newspapers across the country splash the embarrassing defeat of the Australian Army across their front pages, with cartoons of emus outrunning soldiers and headlines that mock the military's incompetence. In the streets of Perth, protesters gather, waving signs that read "Support our farmers and emu crisis." Government fails again. A young farm girl, no more than 10 years old, stands on the steps of the state parliament, her eyes brimming with tears, as she holds up a photograph of her family's ravaged farm. The words "Please help us" scrawled across it in childish handwriting. Meanwhile, in the desert, the emus continue to roam free, their numbers seemingly untouched, as if waiting for their next move, their beady eyes fixed on the distant horizon, where the next farm, the next target, awaits. As the years went by, the legend of the emu's victory spread, and the Australian government found itself facing a new challenge. The emus had become an unlikely national symbol, embodying the country's own struggle for independence and resilience. In the dusty archives of Canberra, officials began to quietly compile reports and testimonials from the soldiers who had fought in the Great Emu War, their accounts a mix of frustration and admiration for the birds they had underestimated. A young soldier, scribbling in his diary, would later become a renowned historian, and his writings would help cement the emu's place in Australian folklore, their story etched into the nation's consciousness like the lines on a worn leather saddle. As the years passed, the people of Western Australia would look back on the Great Emu War with a mix of shame and awe, a reminder of the devastating consequences of underestimating the natural world. The farmers, once desperate for a solution, now work to find ways to coexist with the emus, learning to respect their place in the land. And in the desert, the emus remained, a symbol of the untamed power of nature, their presence a constant reminder to those who would seek to dominate the land. In the end, the emus stood unbroken and unyielding, a testament to the enduring spirit of the wild.